Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Evil 8. My name's Action Jackson, here with Fuji and Humanist, and we're going to be jumping into the series between Cloud9 and Kinetik because of the massive implications it has for the World Championship contenders involved, of course, both of these teams and Gangstars. If you want to catch that final game of Phoenix Rain versus Team Solo Mid, you can do that online at twitch.tv/Vainglory. If you go to the VOD section after this weekend resolves, we will have it available uploaded there. So, returning to this game, if you want to vote for who you think is going to win, you can, of course, just like usual, use the !vote command, followed by either C9 or Kinetik with 2 Ks. Let's have a look at the rosters, though, because we got some great players on these teams. Cloud9 up first on your screen in just a second here. We've got Hardek, Lost Boy Toph, I Love Joseph, starting all over, Gabe Vizzle, and Gaspy. They are going to be up against Kinetik, a team that was recently separated from the Hammers organization, but still got Swidgenaris on the lineup. We got Mixi, Coldamik, Pon the Original, and Forever.
Pretty good lineup right there. I haven't seen Forever, unfortunately, in any of the competitive play. I haven't seen Forever in forever.
Yeah. Obviously, both of these teams have a lot of talent. It's just kind of like how and when are they going to put it all together?
Yeah, I definitely do agree. I mean, like, when you see teams like this that are kind of coming head-to-head, you're never quite sure who's going to come out because each team has such depth of talent. Each team's been in multiple competitions in the past. So even though it's been a little bit of a remix of rosters, Cloud9 seems to have kind of found its groove again with I Love Joseph. But maybe not Lost Boy, because we do see Gabe in the match, which is a pretty big change.
Cloud9 had a lot of success without him last weekend, and I wonder if they're seriously considering this. I mean, my understanding was that last week they're playing with the lineup that they were playing with because they didn't have access to him. But after winning an entire week of the Evil 8, after struggling for a while, maybe this has encouraged them to try it out in a more serious capacity. I mean, when you've got nothing to lose and everything to gain.
You have very few options.
Yeah.
And if for some reason you're like, look, I don't know why this is working, but we're winning with Gabe in there.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have too much time to analyze it. You have to practice together. We don't know if that's the case, like you said, but it makes sense.
And just to reiterate, guys, this is a critical matchup, which is why we had to jump into it, because both of these teams could still make it to the World Championship happening in December. Both Cloud9 and Kinetik only need, I mean, maybe 6 points or something around that to actually overtake Gangstars if Gangstars don't get any more, which is possibly a reality, right? Because these teams are actually both in the same group as Gangstars. So if they get through to the semifinals and beat Gangstars, Gangstars only gets 2 more. They go all the way and win the entire thing. It's going to be very close.
It's a legit reality.
Yeah, it's intense right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, let's say Cloud9 wins, right? Beats the Gangstars in the semifinals. That'll be a crazy matchup to watch. I mean, the most important North American match to date for Split 2 will go down.
Could be better than Worlds.
Could be. Probably won't be, but definitely important. Definitely important. A lot on the line. Ripperoni.
Classic NA fanboy. Let's be real, the best games in the world happen in Europe.
It's going to be exciting regardless
Let
of
me be a
who goes.
fanboy
We don't
too.
get to do outtakes. This is live, Jackson.
Well, you know what? This whole region is an outtake. Yeah.
Nice.
I just
try.
broke my pen. Look at what you did. He said that, and I'm like, no, you didn't. Oh,
Okay.
No, you did not.
Well, I'm excited.
I'm excited as well. What are we expecting from the two teams coming into this game? Because I think actually where I'd like to start is with Kinetik. Coldamik has recently made the transition to Rome. He's been playing a lot of Lyra, which we actually, I mean, I think fairly comprehensively disagreed with, but he's often playing a lot of Arden, which we think is quite strong. So where do you think they're going to go in this particular draft? Maybe they want to deny things away from Gabe?
Maybe. I mean, like, I think Coldamik, when it comes down to doing something like this specific type of matchup, you have to be really careful about putting yourself on comfort picks first and then looking to take away and or outdraft your opponent. I don't think it's worth putting yourself on a pick you don't feel as good on, you don't feel as well thought out on.
You have to do that simultaneously with one pick. You say, I am going to take Gabe's Fen away from him. I'm going to play it myself.
That would be ideal. If they can think of drafts that way.
NA example there, Jackson.
The NA example.
Back when Finn was even stronger than he is now, no one in NA wanted to play him, but Europe knew. Mowgli was all over that.
That's because we don't have to just pull out the highest powered pick to win games.
No, you pull out the weapon power Samuel. Get off my lawn. What?
Ooh, yeah, that's kind
Come
of hard
on.
to defend.
I guess like best players in the world. We should do like a fan vote, like MVP, All-Star type of thing, where the fans get to choose like which players, and we see how many of them come from Europe and how many of them come from North America, best region in the world.
Well, there is no caster bias up here, not even a slight bit from either of these guys.
To be honest, it's been a while since we've had this discussion because we haven't seen international competition in some time. Worlds is coming up. I'm starting to feel some pride for my region. I came from Europe. I'm looking forward to seeing them play. I guess I understand that you are looking
Where were you
forward to North
born?
America. I was born here, but I lived here for 1 year before I moved to England for 20.
Right. So it's like you can't figure out, like, am I a traitor to where my homeland where I was born? Am I a traitor to the place where I grew up? That's tough. It must be like an identity crisis that's...
It's one of those
you have to
convenient
deal
things
with.
you
I'm a
can just
human
choose
being on the
whichever
globe.
one wins.
Jackson is our great friend, and we appreciate him.
All right, I believe the draft is ready, ladies and gentlemen, so let's refocus on this series between Cloud9 and Kinetik. Both of these teams want to make it to the world stage and fight for their region's honor. Let's see who can actually do that, or if Gangstars is going to be the one to make it there. Cloud9, blue side, ban away that Kestrel.
Will this be goodbye, Celeste? I mean, I think getting rid of Celeste is a pretty good idea, especially if you think that you're not going to prioritize the pick. However, it's almost guaranteed Hardik is going to go Scarf if Celeste is not available, which we see. You don't have Celeste as an answer, so you have to start thinking, like, would we rather actually Hardik be on Celeste? Because his Celeste is not as impactful as his Scarf has been traditionally.
Very good
Easier to
point.
shut down. His positioning is not nearly as good. He doesn't have the panic button that we talk about.
Oh, I tried that out. It doesn't work too good.
You have to actually aim it at the enemy.
You do?
Yeah.
I waited till I got in trouble. I hit that ult, and I was like, dude, I don't know how hard it does this.
Oh, man. But we do see Catherine coming through. Definitely a really strong pickup from Gabe Vizzle. Very proficient at this pick. Causes a lot of... once again, we actually talked about this during last weekend. We talked about Koldamik being somewhat newer to the roam position. One of the things you can do is make sure he has to think about something of great importance other than just Fountain and hitting his skill shots, right? Give him a Catherine ultimate, a team-wide silence. He also has to think about and prioritize and see if he can handle the pressure.
Isn't picking Taka before, I mean, on A side here when they've got one more a little bit risky, though, because what happens if Kinetik picks something else that's kind of tanky, you know, or maybe has like a tanky initiator as their third?
Well, Cloud9 is the one team that just picks Taka whenever they want because
That's
it's
true.
I Love Joseph.
Yeah, that's
They'll first pick it, they'll last pick it, they'll second pick it. They just pick it because they know Joseph most of the time can execute it in either the distraction method that we mention quite often or the ability to single out and take out whatever target they're trying to get to. So there's a big front line, but Taka can definitely weave around it.
All right, last thoughts before we hop into game one. Who's taking this one home?
Woo! This is a really tough one here. I'm going to go with Cloud9.
Yeah, I definitely have to say Cloud9 is going to pull it together here. I think they're probably a little thirstier, a little sweatier than Kinetik, but we'll have to see.
Let's find out. Heading on to the Halcyon Fold for Game 1 of Cloud9 versus Kinetik to find out which one of these teams can take the series, start their path towards World Championships in earnest. Let's pass it on over to Jingyi and Forecourt Jester.
Every single series, Xingyi. It's almost just like everything comes down to a win or a loss in these series. There are so many important matches this weekend, and this one is no exception. But Ataka from I Love Joseph, that is certainly some good news from Cloud9, but on the original, Lances in general, like the last week, this whole split, they've been really doing some good work. So I don't know how to call this one.
Oh, I don't know either. I think it's just going to come down to individual performance. I would say Cloud9 this season have been a little bit more emotional than we would normally expect from Cloud9. I think it just comes down to the mentality because, as we've all said many, many times, this is a very important game or a very important series. And seeing I Love Joseph on one of his favorite comfort picks is very good news for Cloud9.
Hardik as well on that Scarf, definitely has a bit of a rep there, but Koldamik, you know, I love the guy, but into this roam position, he does kind of stick out as a little bit more of the weaker point when it comes to some of these comps, so we'll have to see if he can step up with this one. Mixi on that Adagio can do some fantastic work, but look at this, Kinetik, all three coming down into this jungle, they're looking for that steal, doesn't actually find Joseph with the Githian wall. But at this point, Gabe on that Catherine will have to see if a stun combo will be the end of Mixi, because Gabe's going to go for it. Hardik and the Spitfire. Yeah, just not enough in the tank yet.
No, not enough. I think the Catherine is an interesting thing. We don't see that many Catherines being played that much in the split so far. But what's really interesting is that both Lance, once he overdrives his Githian wall, and Finn have the ability to be immune to those stuns from her. So she's really going to have to time them well and really target Mixi. But I Love Joseph here potentially going to be caught out.
Okay, Mixi boots forward. We'll find I Love Joseph, but the rest of Cloud9 are here. Is Mixi in too deep? Joseph just trying to stay on it. We had a scout trap, but it does not land on anyone except there on top of Gabe. So Mixi, he's going to be out. Koldemeek, unfortunately, he's big, he's slow. He is that Finn that we all know, and he's actually going to be dead there as well. 2-0 now going to Cloud9.
Yes, so it's interesting. So we're looking at the comp, and they were able to take down 2 members of Kinetik very, very efficiently, and it's interesting because you're looking at this and you're looking at Kinetik and you're thinking this is a very, very slow composition that they're. Oh, nice roots, Hardik. Oh dear.
Problem is they're just not going to have the mobility to catch Cloud9, and Cloud9, again, the audience, they seem to really nail it down here. Cloud9 winning the poll 71-29, and they're going to channel that power. You gave them their energy there, folks, and that's going to be their 3rd kill of the game, as Mixi again going to be dropping 22 farm. This is going to allow Hardik to pull ahead just a little bit. We'll have to see if Cole can keep everything there in lane for his return.
Yes. As I was about to say, but my point about mobility, when it comes down to it, is that it's very easy for Gabe Vizzle and I Love Joseph to try and catch up to the individual members, but also more importantly, when we get into the late game as that Scarf, it's going to be quite easy for Hardik as that Scarf to land his broken myth stacks onto any of the 3 members of Kinetik, but that doesn't matter, but Hardik, are you
Yeah,
alive?
the flank is
No.
good. Pawn going to be cutting off that escape, and maybe I spoke a bit too soon here. 71% of the audience said Cloud9. They got the kill immediately on to the announcement, but Kinetik, they're not going to be taking this early. What a great flank from Pawn in order to make that happen.
It was a very terrifying flank, and I think one that could have been avoided with vision, with a flare or a scout trap. Gabe Vizzle's been babysitting Hardik in lane, so he hasn't had the time to rotate down and put that scout trap down. It's with those 2 kills, it completely just changed everything. And right now, I think Gabe Vizzle is like Catherine. I've said this before in other series. It's like Catherine. She's very weak in the early game.
Yes.
Once she gets those Captain of the Guard stacks going, once she has that silence available, we're going to be seeing her really changing the momentum of the game. She has that ability with the well-timed blast tremor, because it's not the easiest one to block, and I've seen really talented teams going down to a Catherine because they aren't able to block that blast tremor.
All right, Joseph, this time he's going to be doing a little bit of flanking. Only does find Koldemeek. Mixi very far north in that lane. Actually not going to be available as a target. Gabe Vizzle thinking maybe, okay, yeah, they're going to rotate down. It's going to lead us into a quibble, but it's not the end of the world. Hardik will survive pretty heartily on that one. Minion Mine does go both ways. Pawn just does pick up his here for Kinetik. And they're going to find, again, Cloud9 just looking for a rotation, but it's Cole that's actually waved there into the back.
Oh,
Pawn the
Hardik.
original's going to be pushing forward. He's looking for Hardik, and he is actually hitting real hard. That is a nice focus target, and Mixi, well, he's going to get the return kill as the kill. And now Joseph and Gabe. Gabe looks like he's making an exit. Joseph has the Kaka ready, and we are not going to find that
Don't go back
impale. The Light Company will keep Joseph as a target, but the gift in does not hit. I think Joseph is going to be a bit too slippery to go down.
He was able to get away, and I think this is something that we usually expect to see from I Love Joseph, is his slippery Taka nature. I think one thing that Kinetik's comp has that C9's really needed is that lockdown. Oh, cheeky.
Joseph stole it. Yeah, Joseph stole it on one side. Gabe Vizzle and Pondo on the other. They're kind of making a 2v1 happen on both sides of the fold. Joseph actually going to be down low. He's going to try to get chased out. We have no level 6 for Cole. He is not even close to it either. No anchor available. So Pawn, if we bounce back, he is going to be keeping Cloud9 at bay. Gabe Vizzle's a bit too low to follow. Now Pawn is actually going to go over the wall. He finds Joseph, stuns him up, steals the farm. Koldemeek is here looking for the quibble, but again, we're not even close to level 6, let alone level 8, so it's not going to just happen, and everybody gets out.
Everybody gets out, and I Love Joseph. So this is the thing that we made this point a bit earlier at the start of the game, was his mobility in mobile team is that they're really struggling to be able to catch up to Isle of Joseph. And they're having to rely on their lockdowns, like the Quibble, like the Impel, trying to pin him down. Unfortunately, they're not the easiest to land against Taka, just because how fast he is. But if they are able to get that Impel down on him, and then the Quibble, that's a lockdown that's so important in these team fights. And it just comes down to your skill.
Well, I thought that was a really slick move. That scout trap still sitting there from Cloud9. It gives Joseph even more mobility. And look at that crown just cleaning up the farm, no problem. Kinetik, they very likely know that this is going on. I think if they get spotted out in lane, so they're just going to take the gold mine. You know, if they can't get the farm, they'll take the mine. Pawn now going to be exiting to the left, looking to get that farm as well. And I think Kinetik will get a little bit of a better trade out of this.
Yeah, I think they are too. Upon the Originals wiping the jungle from Cloud9, they've got the gold mine. They are still even in gold. But I think what the problem is here is that there's not enough scout traps being laid down. We're seeing both sides constantly just going into the other's jungle, but I love Joseph, a 1v3. Is that what you're looking for?
Are we going to see a hook? Cole, he's going to hold on to it, at least for now. Does have it skilled up. There is no Hardek here. Hardek's actually pushing lane, and that's 3 minions going to be covering him as he is going to start burning down this turret. You can see the rest of Kinetik. They're even going to throw the boots out, looking to just alleviate the pressure. But Hardek going to make a quick exit into the jungle. Not really a lot to pressure him out from here. Joseph commanding that jungle there as well. He's even going to pick up the backs.
Yeah, and they're leaving Gabe Bizzle to defend this lane against all 3 members of Kinetik. And Gabe Bizzle, as you know, as good as Catherine is and as good as he is, he's going to be struggling. It's a good thing I love Joseph is here now.
Hardek can still flank from this one. They see Joseph here. They got to keep in mind that Hardek is nowhere on the full that they can see. Joseph jumping in silent. It's good. That's going to be down. Mixie's going to be burning as much as he can. Hardek is here. He's making his presence known, but it's the reverse impale instead. It's going to keep Hardek now just real low. The burst is going to be good. Bond with the roll gets the kill. Taka can't seem to find Mixie. He's just struggling hard. Looking for it. Gabe Bizzle still defending out on this turret, but it's going to be the root. Joseph does get the kill on top of the Adagio. Can Joseph clean this one up? Pawn is down low. Cole with the quibble, but it will be the dead lance, and Cole has no cooldowns that he's willing to spend in order to look for the return. So it will be a 2 for 2 with Cole alive, Joseph alive, and the kills almost dead even. The farm pretty much the same.
I love Joseph completely saving that one from Cloud9. Hardek very quickly focused down. And you have to wonder, that's the thing. Oh gosh, I love Joseph! Goodness me.
Cole Meek just almost becoming a superstar with that one. A little bit more damage. If he had a crystal bit or something, could have been worth. But Cole's going to head home. He has 1,600 gold. Very likely, what, a reflex block or something similar?
Well, whew, that just, I love Joseph moment being caught out. So close. Anyway.
And he is going to get that Crucible as quick as he can.
Yes, it's a wise choice. They got, all 3 members of Kinetik got completely caught out by the blast hammer from Gabe Bizzle, which was actually beautiful. It was a shame that Cloud9 didn't have their own Crucible to block the Verse of Judgment because they all got hit by it, and it was a very hard-hitting Verse of Judgment, but they're just going to focus on this turret. I wonder if they can take it down.
Mixie is just looking to trade some damage. Here comes Cole. That's going to be the polite company. Shield is good. Where's the hook? Here it is. That's a 2 quibble. Well, it's going to at least hit on top of Hardek. Gabe Bizzle made a sidestep. Hardek did block it out, so Kinetik don't actually find the lockdown that they were hoping. They have saved out at least some of this aggression, but the turret was already down. Kinetik not going to get any push generated here either. Could they be going for a gold mine? It's 3/4 full, and with no real pressure against them, they're going to be looking to take it down. Gabe Bizzle is here off to the side. He does spot it out. Do we have that blast hammer? Yeah, it is here. It is good to go. We actually have a minion mine taken down by the Taka. The steal, not going to happen. It was a good try, though, from Gabe. The backs, however, off to the side. You can see Hardek working away. He's going to steal out the farm. And it's kind of curious to figure out who actually got the better trades. I want to say the gold mine will ultimately pay off a little bit more, but it's not that bad from Cloud9.
No, it was a nice job from Hardek just going to the backline of Kinetik and taking away their farm. It was a clever choice, and likely why folk spend 2 members trying to steal a gold mine when you can send 1 to steal and guarantee some gold. But here we go again. I love Joseph.
Gonna be burning down low. Mixie has enough shield in the bank. Oh, Hardek did not commit. He actually might have been able to bring down Mixie, but instead gets him low. Joseph real low. He did initiate that fight, just trying to set up so that they didn't move anywhere. Hardek looking for the kill. The root not going to hit here from Pawn, and that impale. We have an anchor, but Cole's not going to throw it out. And Gold, as I said, it wasn't that bad a trade from Cloud9. I don't think they actually won it out overall, but we are still neck and neck with the goal.
They absolutely are, and Cloud9, they're a turret up, and they've been doing a really good job so far. I see that Isle of Joseph has already picked up his Aftershock, which I think is a really nice choice, going into Call the Meek and Pawn the Original, two very tanky, so that burst is needed. It does mean that we are seeing this double crystal comp, however, making it slightly easier to itemize against, so we should be seeing Mixie and Pawn the Original definitely going for those Aegises.
Yeah,
But, yeah.
So we'll see how long Pawn holds on to his armor, but Crucibles and Aegis definitely going to be right up there on the alleys here from Cloud9. So they are going to be, from Kinetik. Cloud9 coming up through that lane, gets denied on the transition. We're looking for a stun. Gabe doesn't quite find the distance. We do got the supports here, rocking both two items. Looking for the treads here from Gabe, but he's going to have to wait a little bit to go grab them. 2 items there on Hardek, 2 there on Mixie, and double Sorrow for Lance. We'll have to see who actually folds here. Lance not part of this fight. We have no turret to fall back on, so Kinetik a little bit more on the back foot. Where's the Pawn? They don't have any eyes on him. He's going to be found out right here. That's the root. Joseph, target. Yeah, but he is done. Gabe, it will not get that silence. Good Crucible there coming out from Cole. And now Gabe is going to get chased down here by Mixie. Hardek, is he going to get away from Pawn the Original? He's going to be under the turret for now. He does return some damage. But Mixie's still trying to chase down Gabe. And if they come down, yeah, Gabe, he found the only exit out of this one.
This is so risky right now. It was a really nice pickup that they got into Isle of Joseph, but they're Cloud9, I think, been quite ambitious at trying to pick up kills there, because Hardek, he's got no energy, dropping low on health, and Call the Meek upon the Original with the impale.
Yep, the flank is here. We got the Quibble. The impale is good. Hardek, is he going to survive? We have the fountains now going to be popped, and Mixie is just so low. Hardek and Gabe, I don't think they can really re-engage. He said that he doesn't have the energy. He barely has the health to go with it. Gabe down low as well. So it will be Kinetik now putting up a little bit more aggression in lane. If they can actually push out, might be a turret in their favor, but I'm not entirely too sure they have the cooldowns or the health themselves to do it.
They don't. They're teleporting back right now. It's interesting. I think it's... what am I trying to say here?
What are you trying to say?
You know when you start talking and then you forget what you're about to say?
All the
It's
time.
been happening a lot today.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I know, it's a terrible affliction.
Well, we'll get you back on track, because let's look at the score. Look at that farm. Again, not a heavy advantage either way. About 500-600 or so for Kinetik. Definitely not really enough to call it a solid lead. Gold mine attempt. Stolen, no problem. Pawn and that double story. He hits hard, but we do got a silence there. Gabe, he does not have the Storm Guard. He's going to drop. We got the fountain out of him before he did go down, but it's not enough to keep Joseph ticking. And now Hardek, he's going to get trying to rush down. Mixie, got to be careful. He's on that goop. He's looking to just keep Hardek in range. Block is good for the impale, but Cole, is he going to get the polite company? Does he even have a hook? It's 17 seconds away. The goop is keeping Hardek going, but now he's run out of space. That will be the ace, as Kinetik will get some farm, some pressure, very likely a turret. And they've blown open that gold lead.
We're walking a very thin line here, and the thing that went wrong for that fight was that we didn't see Hardek get the chance to build up his broken mid stacks. It just felt like Avis when Isle of Joseph just went all out, went all in, and they went down very fast. And if you look upon the Original, he's got the double sword blade, but hang on a second, are they going to go down again?
No Quibble to hit, no impale to hit. Joseph, just a very, very mobile guy. Gabe and Joseph, however, do keep the turret going. We are going to be trying to tank out here from Gabe just so that Hardek can pick up the farm. And Hardek going to be kind of delaying that third item for defense. Has himself that Aegis, picked up some armor there as well. Aegis for Pawn. We do got some infusions ticking. 16 minutes in, it's always a good idea. But 3 items now for Mixie. He's been sort of the big target, but with 3 item damage spike, he's going to be hitting hard before he drops, if he drops at all.
Pawn the Original is his build. I think because he's been able to land every single, well, most of his impales, his Githian walls. Part of that is Hardek's positioning. I feel like he's a little bit too far forward sometimes, and by standing with all 3 of his members, he's allowing those triple routes to happen. And
Spitfire and Flare. Hardik is going to be looking for some poke. Gabe Vizzle just scouting out the bush, but Cloud9 not finding the angle that they want.
they aren't. Hardik's not able to land the Spitfires, he's not able to build up his broken myth stacks. They just need a good fight where they're able to poke members of Kinetik down. Fortunately, I think we're seeing Kinetik being super aggressive. They're engaging. A lot of the time what happens when we see teams give Scarf the advantage, that you can just see them being a little bit too tentative to actually engage, but we're not seeing that happen with Kinetik right now. They've got absolutely no fear when it comes to those fights.
Infusions, Joseph, no infusion. He's the only one actually out of it right now. Cole throws out that anchor, but he has 3 points in it. He's going to be up back in 20 seconds for now. Pawn, he's looking to engage. We have armor across the board from Cloud9. They are just really afraid of Pawn and that burst that he has. And the impale, the root is going to be good. Gabe hits that storm. Colm, he has the shields, and that's going to be enough to bring down the captain. Hardik is really going hard on top of Mixi, but they get the end, will save him. And Joseph will not jump the Adagio. It's going to be Hardik dead in the floor, and Pawn is now looking for more. The stun, don't even need an impale. Pawn, the original, gets the ace, and this is looking good for Kinetik. 12 kills up against the 6, 18 minutes in. The fold is their oyster.
The fold is their oyster, absolutely. And part of the reason was Gabe Bizzle went down really quickly. We saw him being poked down by Dagger's fire. And he went down before he got the chance to use his fountain, leaving Hardik and I Love Joseph in a very difficult position. And that's partly because the lockdown coming out from Pawn Original has been so good with the impales. And as I was saying before, it's doing a lot of damage with that double Sora Blade. There is a little bit of armor on the side of Gabe Bizzle and Hardik, but just doesn't seem to be enough. And I think one thing that would have really helped Gabe Bizzle would just be a little bit of cooldown, because I feel like in those fights he's using a few stuns, Storm Guard, and then he's out of energy and he can't really do too much else in the team fights apart from using his items. And I think cooldown is something that Captain needs, and we're seeing a few recently picking up contraptions just for the vision and for the cooldown.
Contraption overall has just evolved into a pretty fantastic roam item. Regardless, one day, Cole, you'll hit one of these one day. But 20 seconds, I think we're gonna have a really good shot at it there, because that Crucible's down 40 seconds. So I might say one day, but Cole to me getting that cooldown out here from Cloud9. It's brilliant stuff, man. So 6 seconds and counting. The Kraken is pushing up. We got infusions across the board. That cooldown reduction is ever present here from Cole. He has those double Chronos ready to roll here as well. Gabe, as you did say, I mean, he's kind of lacking a little bit here, but that's a route forward. And Hardik, are you actually a bit too far forward? Regardless, Pawn cannot bring him down. He had some good shots, but it will be still Hardik to survive. I Love Joseph trying to get the damage into the back, but Kinetik have weathered the storm very nicely, and the Kraken has taken another turret. This is going to be getting down to the wire for Cloud9. They're looking for some of these hits. Mixi is the target. We got that breath going down, and the Adagio is done. Koldomik has taken down this turret here with the help of the Kraken, but it's a double kill. Will Pawn and the damage actually end up this game with this Kraken? I think they one more swing. They get the triple from Cloud9, but they lose the crystal. And this is Kinetik of one game in the series.
What a close one that was at the end. I genuinely thought that the Kraken was going to go down and they would just have the crystal left. Nonetheless, it would have been a very risky game. What went so wrong for Cloud9? I mean, it just felt like I Love Joseph there. He had the aftershock there for the burst, but it just didn't seem like it was doing too much damage onto either Call the Make Pawn the Original, and nobody was really diving onto Mixi there. Pawn the Original and Call were doing such a good job of standing in front of Mixi. Hardik was rarely landing those Spitfires onto Mixi there, and that was really important. And if you look at the kills, 8-12, it doesn't seem that different. But
Mixi, 5 deaths by the end of it all, though. I mean, he was definitely public enemy number 1 to Cloud9.
I mean, at the start, Cloud9 had a fantastic, good start. I think even to the mid-game, they were focusing on Mixi, they were running rampant through the jungle of Kinetik. But all just seemed to change in those team fights when we did see Kinetik starting to come into their own there. Call the Meek, he had a lot, he had the double chronograph there, which is really good, because we saw him able to pull in Hardik, and Hardik, he's got his Aegis, Gabe Bizzle already uses Crucible. The cooldown on it is so short that you can't block every single forced chord, and this is something that we see a lot.
It's a really good strat overall. But we're going to be throwing it back to the desk. We have some updates and everything. Game 2 going to be coming your way here as well. So there's still lots to come. So it's back to AJ, Humanist, and Fuji.
Welcome back to the desk, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, we do have an update on the other series for you guys. Phoenix Rain actually beating out TSM this week in round 1, so Team Solo Mid not going to be moving forward to day 2. Certainly could allow for some of the other teams in the group that TSM was in to get some more points, but this group is what we're focusing on right now, and things are really heating up. You saw Kinetik take that game 1. Gangstars won their series earlier on. All these teams still in contention. Let's break this one down, though. Cloud9, I feel like what happened there, they were like, okay, we can do that thing where Hardik gets really far behind, and we'll come back later in the game because he's Scarf, and then they couldn't get late enough in the game.
Well, it also doesn't work when you build the same offensive path. I mean, yes, Store Crown is true damage, but going into Aftershock is Crystal Power, and everyone is stacking shield because obviously it's a Scarf that Hardik is on, so the amount of damage that was capable of coming out was almost non-existent. I mean, that build does not kill any of the tanks if you're Taka in a massive team fight, and you're not going to kill Adagio with it either because you don't have any auto attack presence. You're just burst and leave, and Adagio just heals what you just did to him. Scarf can't get Spitfires.
Leave if you're lucky because they actually could lock him down once he was within range a lot of times as well.
Yeah, I think the only way this works is if C9 gets really far ahead, actually. And Hardik isn't going to be able to help them do that, not on Scarf. And you saw lots of like overextension and mispositioning in the early game where Pawn the Original was just able to get impales and kill Joseph straight up.
This is one of the reasons why I kind of disagree with picking Taka or Scarf, right? Like, I know Joseph is one of the best Taka players, and I know in previous seasons when the overall level of competition was perhaps lower, it would work, but the composition wasn't very cohesive or coherent.
It's funny
right,
that you
from
mentioned
Cloud9.
both the Scarf and the Taka because I feel like the Catherine was out of place for these guys. Now, that's Gabe playing it. That's a comfort pick for him. But when they were doing well, it was with the Finn. And obviously Finn was picked away, but I just don't think Cath had too much synergy with what they wanted to accomplish.
But when she got her ultimate out successfully, it wasn't like Scarf and Taka could just turn around and delete someone. The damage just wasn't there. I mean, and the Taka build is still probably one of my bigger concerns because Toka, I did it again. How is that even possible? 2 weekends in a row. I just like mix Joseph and Taka together and my brain explodes. But Joseph has been playing Taka for a very long time. And one of the reasons why he's very good at this pick is because he not only knows when to go in and out of the jungle for steals and camp secure, but he also understands how to maneuver around a fight most of the time to a great success. So if you're building up stacks on something like a breaking point, if you have a Sara Blade, if you have some kind of other weapon damage that they have to also itemize against, it gives you more of an opportunity for Scarf to deal more damage up front. But when they're stacking Aegises and shielding, Scarf takes so long to ramp his damage up in the team fight that when a Catherine ultimate comes out, Scarf's not really ready to kill anybody yet. Maybe he has 5 stacks, but it's not exactly the most ideal moment for him just to turn around and ult all the time either. Things have to synergize.
What were his in-game items there? Joseph?
Joseph had a Aftershock and a Storm Crown and some defensive items. I want to say maybe a little attack speed. I actually forget what the other major item was. But this is just kind of one of those things where it's like you are playing your comfort picks, I guess, but they have to kind of go together a little bit, right? Like you mentioned this before. It's like you have to think about what are your comfort picks. You have to think about then do you take something away? Can you do both? Kill 2 birds with 1 stone kind of thing. And then like make sure that it synergizes
like Cole.
together.
Like you're in the draft, what would Cole do in this situation, right?
WWCD.
I think you think like a chef, right? Like you have all these ingredients, and some of them are your favorite things to eat. Like I love sushi. I like peanut butter quite a lot. But putting them together, it's questionable.
But if you can figure out how to do it, you're a genius.
I mean,
sometimes it works.
I guess.
Sometimes it goes down and then comes back up.
You haven't had some peanut butter sushi? I don't know, man. Where you been eating?
Okay, game 2. Kinetik is up 1 point against Cloud9. They're looking to move forward, keep their world's hopes alive. Cloud9, on the other hand, needs to move forward here and reverse sweep if they want to keep theirs going.
Interesting.
Neither's going to happen, at least for the time being, because we're back on the desk.
APM not high enough to lock in the ban. Got to tap quicker than that.
No, Cole's like, that's what we meant to do, team. Can we...
Well, we've got the ban that they would have been going for. It is going to be a Scarf ban. So Kinetik taking that one off the table.
I'm telling you, these guys, Kinetik is both playing and drafting better than the majority of the teams out there right now.
I mean, I think it's well. I mean, C9 I would say is never really shown in draft. It hasn't been their key thing about winning. It's just always been about when they get in game, they're capable of like outplaying pretty heavily in one place or the other. But when it comes to draft strategy, Cloud9 doesn't seem to really have a big plan when you go into. At least I don't ever feel like they do. They just want to try to get themselves on some picks that they feel somewhat comfortable with. Hopefully, kind of wondering maybe if Gabe was able to change the dynamic of that, but not sure.
I think Cloud9, in my opinion, needs to change their core mentality. Because what happens with them as a team, I think, is on certain updates, on certain patches, where Taka's like really strong, and there's a lot of things for him to kill, Joseph goes off like a rocket. On other patches where that's not the case, I don't think they can handle it. I feel like Joseph, a lot of the time, spends too much time babysitting Hardek because Hardek falls behind early. And perhaps it's this lineup with Gabe Bizzle versus Toph, or I think, to be honest, in entirety, not enough focus is given onto snowballing Joseph. Like, just snowball Joseph.
Well, I mean, in the
How's
past,
Hardek do then?
Snowball's always...
Hardek just farms up, tries not to lose the turret.
Builds Fountain
Yeah, why
out
not?
of the lane.
You know,
quick,
okay,
super quick Fountain.
I'm gonna give a very radical opinion here. I think he should build Frostburn first on every mage he plays, and slow people down for Joseph to kill them. I would do that.
pretty radical.
It's pretty rare.
It's radical because I don't like Frostburn first, but
Tubular.
that's where I'm going with this. Tubular?
Oh my god! Did you pick that phrase up when you were at Woodstock?
Tubular or radical?
Radical.
He's a NorCal boy now.
Radical? No, I didn't mean radical in the way that you think I meant radical.
Well, that was something in the 70s anyway.
Right.
You missed
Radical.
the age
Radical,
joke.
dude.
Rad.
Oh, but we are still kind of
This
putting
draft's pretty
together the
rad.
draft behind the scenes. Cloud9 does ban Celeste with Kinetik first picking Kestrel. That's kind of a favored pick of their team. I know Pond likes to play Kestrel.
This is going to be interesting. We haven't seen the draft is happening right now, but we haven't seen too much Lance going over the way of Cloud9.
This is very true.
Who's going to play it?
Finn and Lance now on Cloud9.
Hardek, lane Lance, builds Fountain. Let Joseph just hard carry out of the jungle.
Please do not send Lance to the lane. For the sake of
It's Jackson's strategy. I
That's
didn't even
not
say it.
true at all.
I'm just going with what I'm just making your plan better.
my sanity needs something different. It's interesting that they actually do pick
Wait
this
a
duo,
minute.
though.
Frostburn on Lance, CP ratio gives him additional scaling on his crowd control, plus he gets to
so
slow from the
good.
Frostburn. Dude!
You're like, I just knocked you away, deal with it.
and you're slowed,
yeah.
so I can catch up to you again and slow you again.
And just get a shiver steal after that.
Did you just mute my mic?
I tried. I tried muting it. It's getting a little crazy. But we have Kestrel, Arden, and Sky for Kinetik, and Cloud9 picks up Adagio, Finn, and Lance. So kind of thinking, well, it worked for you, maybe it'll work for
Hardek's
us.
Adagio is pretty decent.
What's Joseph's Lance going to be like? You can't be quite as,
I think it'll be hit or miss.
like Impale, hit or miss. I see what you did there. I like it.
Oh, well, we're in the game, so I think we're going to find out pretty quick one way or the other. But you're right, it is not the most notable hero that he's played.
This is going to be an interesting game. Real quick, before we get on to the fold, who do you think is going to take it home?
Well, after seeing the first game and just the way they've kind of come together, I mean, Kinetik seems to feel pretty good. And Cole impressed me pretty heavily with the ability to block most of those Catherine ults and play around what I thought was going to be a high-pressure situation. So I have to go with Kinetik.
Makes sense. I'm going to go with Cloud9. I think Joseph's going to land some impales and cut through these squishies.
All right, let's find out as we head on to the Halcyon Fold for Kinetik versus Cloud9. Game 2, we've got Jingy and Full Court Jester.
Game 2 is going to be a very important matchup because this is where Cloud9 need to put a point on the board. Well, they're going to be exiting this scene on this last of weeks for the split here, Xingyi. But Kinetik, really good stuff out of them. We'll have to see if the squishy comp will work out. I suspect we're going to see a Frostburn Sky first.
I suspect. Well, actually, I'm not sure about that because Gabe Bizzle and I Love Joseph are so slow already. I don't know if she needs the Frostburn to stay in there, but upon the original...
Could have survived with a Frostburn. Just saying. Well, maybe not. Mixie at this point should get some pot shots off, but the roam execution is actually really good here. Between Gabe Bizzle and I Love Joseph, I mean, we don't really get to see Joseph on Lance a lot. They're definitely more known for things like his Taka, his Kestrel, I even want to say, Black Feather out there as well. But with the Lance, again, it's been a really good split for Lance. Like, he kind of debuted really terribly with numbers. You remember back in summer, even before that? And,
The one in Europe?
Spring? Yeah, but this split has been really good for his numbers. And Gabe Vizzle, he's going to be taking a lot of those shots, but Joseph not going to re-engage.
Yeah, Hardex should have to be a little bit careful because Mixi and Cloud9 are there. So we're seeing Cloud9 playing two of the pivotal heroes that Kinetik played in the first game against them, and I'm wondering if they're going to win or lose against this, how they're going to play this comp. Because last time I think it really came down to upon the original's Lance and how well he was able to land those Githian walls and those impales, because he was pretty on point with it all. And I'm wondering if I Love Joseph will have the same success when it comes down to him.
Mixi has no idea. He's going to get hit, looking for the flight company, but the route's just a little bit too long that it was held. So now Cloud9 not going to find the kill on top of Mixi, and they're going to have to make an exit here. Joseph did get the Treant, though, so that's to their credit. We got that flare out. Not going to be walking into it twice in a row here from Kinetik, and that will be now Mixi picking up his own Treant there as well. Joseph will poke down Coldamik a little bit, but that should be pretty much it for the aggression. While the original's going to come back here to lane, he has to farm up as best he can. Does have the double crystal bit. Still could see that crystal dream. It's not double weapon, though, as we still have yet to find a kill for the double weapon. Or
Yeah,
a win, I should say.
Well, I just don't think... I think double weapon's quite easy to itemize against. And I just feel like double crystal might be better, or better yet, just go weapon and crystal, make it hard for your enemy team to itemize against it. And that's just it for me.
Well, we're going to split both ways on both sides. You can see Joseph picking up that weapon, and Hardik, he's going to be looking for an alternating current as quick as he can. But that was actually Mixi, and off into the opponent's jungle. He did clean it all up. Joseph is just, again, kind of just trying to set up camp here in the other side of the fold. But Coldamik, he's going to see this one coming. Cloud9, they got some rotations going, but I don't think there's going to be kills. Just a little bit of contention on farm. Doesn't matter. It's Mixi to pick it up.
Well, it's just not as successful as the last game when, you know, Pond Original was really strong against it. He was able to deny them farm. I Love Joseph, he's lagging behind Mixi there. So he's 12 to 28. Mixi, we're seeing, doing a pretty good, successful job of just going solo jungling and denying farm away from I Love Joseph every single time. But well, maybe with that scout trap there, he won't have as much luck because they're going to be seeing him coming. But right now, that's a bit of an issue that you don't want to snowball into a bigger one.
Right, yeah, if you can stop a snowball out now, it's definitely the best of times to do it. Yeah, establishing early tempo hasn't always led into a great late game, but having some of these scaling comps, you could definitely, if you can weather the storm, it can definitely pay out. So for now, Kinetik, they're all staying together, they're all giving each other bonus gold, and it's all up to Cloud9 to continue pushing on. They're leaving their Joseph in the jungle by himself. That's going to be good for leveling. You can see him now level 5, just pushing up as quick as he can into the 6, but it's actually not entirely working yet. Mixi's, I think, still pretty much par with that experience.
Mixi's, well, they're pretty close. I think I Love Joseph is a little bit ahead of getting to that level 6 before him, even though he's been able to just take that many more minions away.
23 to the 38, but a lot of that is, again, shared out here with his team. So Pawn, actually not that far up 6 himself. Hardek is going to be struggling a little bit here in that race. Joseph, he will get the farm. It was a nice attempt there from Mixi. Hits the boots immediately. Coldamik is going to be here with the team, but not any level 6s yet. Ooh, that could actually be a big opportunity. We have the Impale and the Githian, and that's enough for the last shot there from Adagio for the second kill of the game. We're up 2-0 here for Cloud9.
That was a great start. There was a really nice Impale, and I think this is what's the beauty of this Lance Finn combination, is that if you're able to land the Impale, you get Finn being able to use his quiver there and you get a nice chain. We're not going to get this chain stuns until you get to that level 8, but Hardik gives Hardik the perfect chance to use his Agent of Wrath and just deal the damage out to Mixi. He did that very perfectly in that last fight, picking up the kill there onto Mixi. I feel that the Cloud9 comp, though, it will take a little bit while to ramp up, and we saw that in their last game. I think we won't be expecting them to do extremely well until like 10-15 minutes when they start getting the items, especially when I Love Joseph gets the sword blades.
Mixture's holding lane, but it's a 1-on-3 endeavor. He has actually cleaned out the minions, and now Cloud9, they're going to be looking for a retreat. Yeah, Pawn, he's going to have to reposition, but a great strike. Lots of damage from the death from above there as well. It all comes across very cleanly here on Cloud9.
What?
It's going to be a burst and a one-shot to go out. Cole, you're going to throw out that gauntlet? Are we going to see a hook? I mean, you might as well just make it all official here for the team fight. The hook is good. Pawn is going to be the target. He's going to be down. We have no Kestro here in lane, so Cole, he's going to make an exit. The turret is down. 3 kills to Cloud9. Their early game is working out well. Almost 1,000 gold to their name. You can see Joseph, he's not done yet. He's looking for the stun, the Githian there on top of Mixi, but Joseph has taken so many shots to the face. We have the gauntlet now out now. Joseph is going to be running. He has some shield from Gabe. The fortified health doing work, and Mixi just couldn't seal the deal. Cole the Meek still might actually drop. Cole Hardick actually can't even seem to find that one. Mixi will survive at least for now as well, but here comes Joseph. He has the roll. That's going to be a shot in the back, and now Hardick, is he going to drop? We got Cole and that uppercut. He gets it. Pawn is now looking for blood from that hook from Gabe, but he's got the Suri strike. Joseph, did he actually eat a potion? Nope, it's not going to be quite there yet. We still have this lock on, but Pawn is giving up the chase.
So close there, and I think that was a very good example of how difficult it could be to land an impale there onto Pawn, or sorry, onto a Sky there who's got the Suri strike. And, well, that's a Frostburn, you're right, Forecourt.
Dun, dun, dun. I actually had it for both fights, but it didn't matter with that hook going in. Pawn, yeah, he went down quick. Mixi did have enough cash in the bank for the Sora Blade, but after he got back home, that's when he was able to pick it up. So it wasn't part of that fight. At least I'm pretty sure it wasn't part of that fight. 90% sure on that one. But either way, yeah, there's a little bit of a difference. Now, if they go for a fight, you know, a lot of those tier 3s are now done. Joseph getting some damage here on top of Mixi. Cole's going to hit the boots and just put up a big front, but Cloud9, they're really just now looking to turn their attention on top of Pawn. If he gets rooted or hooked, that's going to be a very dead Sky, but he is going to have the retreat there covered by Cole, and it will be Cloud9 taking control of the mid of the fold, and that leaves him with a stacked gold mine.
I think this is a good time for Cloud9 to be picking fights. Partly the reason is because neither Pawn the original or Mixi have that reflex block, so they're guaranteed that if Gabe Vizsla can land those hooks, they're going to be able to pull one member in each time. And the one time they did it so far, they pulled Mixi in and he went down so fast because they chained it up with an impale from Isle of Joseph. And if they can do that again, if they... Nope, it misses.
See, with the hook on one side, I expected the impale to kind of mirror it on the other, and that way there's no real good place for Pawn to sit, but there was no impale. I don't think we really had the positioning from Joseph to make it happen either, so... Alright, hook is down, 50 seconds. They will get this treant, however, so Cloud9, again, just more or less controlling the mid points. They are going to be keeping vision here in the mid, and they can pretty much see most of Kinetik here up in lane anyways. Cole's going to be throwing out that flare. They are going to come up empty for Cloud9, but we're just biding time here. Cloud9 getting items, looking for 2. There it is, Hardick. He's sitting now on not only the alternating, but the broken mid. On the original, not quite the same luck yet.
Pawn the original is lacking in defense, I feel.
He's all blue.
He's definitely all blue, apart from those boots that stand out like a sore thumb. I think you could say the same for Mixi as well. I feel like defense at this point, especially when there's so much lockdown with Gabe Vizsla and Isle of Joseph there, it's probably a good idea to just get one reflex block, because if you can block either the impale or the quivel, you can reposition yourself to avoid the follow-up. And also you've got this block for the Force Accord that Gabe Vizsla has now. He's missed. It's been about 50-50 with the hits or misses so far. But once he gets to that late game, he's going to have up fairly frequently that they need a reflex block.
Yeah, Cole just sitting on the Crucible. That's the only thing that really keeps his team from those hooks, from some of those lockdowns. And Cole basically just has to keep a finger on it every time he sees Gabe at this point. Past that, I wouldn't use it on the impale unless it's going to be life or death, because then you got a free hook coming your way. So you do bring up a good point here, Xingyi. We got some polite company. Pawn not going to get followed up there with that anchor, but not going to allow Cloud9 to push in as easily as they might want. The clear between Pawn and Mixi is actually going to be keeping Cloud9 from going too deep on the turret.
Oh, the gauntlet goes down.
Yeah, we had a one-shot go out. The gauntlet is there as well, but not really any kind of big follow-up. Instead, Gabe biding his time, staying there in the front and just daring Kinetik to come at them. No Crucible as of yet used. Cole couldn't actually stop out that hook, and now Cold likely to drop. There's the Crucible use, but he's on a scout trap. They got the vision. That'll make it 2-0. Pawn, the only one to survive from Kinetik, and I'm not entirely too sure if the calls were jumbled, if there's a miscommunication. 2 ults used, but nothing really kind of followed it up, and in fact, it will be Cloud9 with the 2 kills.
Well, the problem was the Force Accord wasn't blocked, so they had a great engagement with, well, maybe not even great engagement with the Gauntlet, because they caught most of the members of Cloud9 in it, and the whole point of the Gauntlet is to isolate one member. They didn't do that, and oh, Hardek.
2v1, he had really no chance. The Surrey Strike from Pawn sealed that one.
Yes, as I was saying, they need to put a block Gabe Fizzles, and as of yet, even after that, McShee's sitting, well, not on quite enough gold to get the reflex, but upon the original definitely is, and I think he's just holding on to that. Oh, Gabe, don't know if he's going to make this out.
Oh, you know, he'll be fine. There's no dive from Kinetik, at least not yet. I was really curious if they would, but not really any kind of massive amount of armor built up here from Cole. He would have gotten eaten alive there by the turret.
No, they saved the turret. It doesn't even take that much damage.
Gabe has Light Spring. He's totally fine.
He's good. He's sitting on that. Upon the original, he's just picked up the Broken Myth there, but still no defense.
No defense, yeah. Still all blue. A lot of tier 1s and 2s just kind of permeating through. He's actually held on to an Hourglass since the first buy, and he's been just using that little bit of cooldown reduction as often as he can. Cole's going to have a flare. You do notice that Gabe's going to be coming through, but it is going to be McShee to pick up the Treant. Joseph is here. He throws out the hook. Could have been a game-defining moment right there, but it will not be. Cloud9 still more or less maintaining mid. They do have some scout traps down here as well, so once Kraken does come through in about 2 minutes or so, we might still be in a really good spot for Cloud9 to take game 2.
I think so. I think if they do it, they leave themselves in a 1-1 position, and what makes this game so important is I think both of the teams have a chance at Worlds if they manage to win the weekend, if I'm correct.
Well, Team Solo Mid ends up at 13 points. That's number 2 spot, right? And they don't really count when it comes to the counting of it. It's Gangstar sitting at 14 right now. That's the key. Gangstars is 14. Cloud9 is at 12 after, if they can win this one, they're at 12. If they can't, they are done. But Kinetik's at 7. I don't know if Kinetik can actually catch up to Gangstars by the end of all things. That's 7 points. Well, 8 points because they're up 1-0.
Cloud9
6 points. 6 points if they can do it, yeah.
Cloud9 has a chance, and if Kinetik can deny it away from them, then it's looking good for Gangstars.
If Gangstars win nothing else and Kinetik go 2-0 from here on out, I mean, I guess there could be that tiebreaker. I don't have the tiebreaker rules in front of me, though. This is where we need tasty bacon. But overall, it's very important, right? There's a lot of chances here. Cloud9, very important that they do get this, and Meek with that gauntlet. They are going to get it blocked out. Gabe Fizzle is going to be down low. The gauntlet does actually force out the reflex blocks, but there's nothing really else for Kinetik to throw at these guys, so they're going to make their exit. We got that Kraken coming up here, 30 seconds, and we're looking for those 3-item spikes. Pawn has his. Hardek might actually have the cash, depending on what he wants at that last one, but I think he's actually still a bit shy. We do have the monocle there. McShee, he's sitting on his 2, maybe looking for that breaking point by the end of things. Maybe he'll go double monocle. Either way, we are starting to get to a tipping point in this game.
We are, and I think what's happening in a lot of these team fights is they're focusing on Gabe Fizzle, and I understand that Gabe Fizzle is trying to body block for Hardek and I love Joseph, and because he's doing that, because of the immense damage coming from McShee and Pond and Original, we're seeing him going for very non-typical Romy builds. He's got the Aegis, he's got the Metal Jacket. This is not something that we normally expect to see, and part of the reason is he is just eating up so much damage. You can see him doing it right now, and that actually at times he eats up so much damage that it's actually they can't capitalize on any good potential engagements, and they just have to back away because they need Gabe Fizzle alive. And
lots of infusions coming out. We have an infusion there for Hardek in his inventory as well. But Joseph, his level 12, he just popped his. So overall, 5 out of 6. Gabe, yep, 6 out of 6. These teams know how important this next fight's going to be. And we're going to have to see if McShee and Krib can actually do this one. A lot of metal jackets on Roams. The hook blocked out. Meek had his finger ready on the button on that one. And now Gabe, he's going to be that front line. He does have quite a bit of armor, as you did mention. McShee can't really do much, but the root going forward, that's going to keep McShee on the run. On the original, trying to cover that with that crossburn. And his 2 more items, the Surrey Strike. I love Joseph just trying to get in front of this one. Everybody from Cloud9, down half or more. Pawn the original is looking sterling, but I don't think we're seeing aggression from either side anymore.
We're not seeing any aggression. I think Kinetik were very, very aggressive at the start. They were really picking a lot of engagement.
Hardek.
Oh, Hardek! Oh no!
He stayed, the rest of the team didn't. Suri Strike of Legends just going to be trying to keep Hardek down, but the Death from above, they are still actually in a spot
So
to
close.
get the kill, and they will. But Hibikshi, though, he's going to get pulled right in. Kolamik is there as well. Cloud9 has come with the cavalry, and Kolamik is going to be paying the price. It will be a 2-1 trade to Cloud9, and it's up to Pawn the Original to stop out the Cloud9 Kraken attempt.
They turned it around. They turned a very bad situation to a quite a good one, actually. They still have Sky left alive, and she's actually a major threat while they're taking the Kraken, because I feel like she has the potential to take this, and they don't actually have that much damage. They don't have the burst to take it down as fast as they can, and this is going to be a very, very tense moment now with Pawn here.
Joseph immediately upon seeing Pawn rolls forward and just wants to try to get that positioning. A root could do some massive damage, but it does have the option of getting blocked out here. Pawn just putting forward that foot is going to stop Kraken overall. So the rest of the team now has to kind of play catch up here. You already see Mikchi into the jungle. He's going to be in position if there is anything else here with the Kraken, but all three of Cloud9 getting together here as well. Every cooldown except that verse is ready to roll. We got hooks, we got rolls, we got one-shots and gauntlets. Death from above could also be pretty critical here as well.
A root could do so much right now because neither Mikshi Pawn the Original has any armor, so it would do so much, and it's such a close game right now. It is very close, and you can definitely sense this from both of the teams that they're very tentative to actually go for an engagement. And I think it really does hinge on one of the forced accords, because if they're able to escape, there's not really much they can do to gap close there, because I Love Joseph has the ability to try and close the gap there. Unfortunately, there's no way for Hardek to catch up.
3 items on both of these crystal carries. Looking for Joseph's second Thoro. He's going to get it right here. Yeah, he does have the money. He has the infusion as well, so he just powered up a good bit on top of things. Mikshi still on that 2 items, still looking for that breaking point, but we've had to go into defense on quite a few members here of the game. Cloud9 throwing out the hook, but it is going to get stopped out. Koldamik says no. We got some damage now coming in, though. Forward barrage, the Frostburn doing work. Suri Strike for the reposition. Pawn will block out the stun, and that's going to be the gauntlet going down with that Death from above as well, but nobody caught in it. The blocks are good enough. Cloud9 repositioned back under the turret. There's one turret between both sides that is down, Xingyi, and Cloud9 really just using this bastion of safety to deter the advances of Kinetik, but it's not going to work. Mikshi has the damage. We got the poke from Pawn. It's done and dusted. This is now, again, Cloud9 on the retreat. Some pot shots from Mikshi. The one shot will not hit, and Kinetik have taken a lot of control here.
They're doing really well in being able to force Kinetik back, and that's part of the poke coming out from there. You really don't have it with Gabe Bizzle and I Love Joseph. They have to rely on Hardek, and it's just not enough compared to Mikshi and Pawn the Original. It's a very, very tense moment right now for both of these teams, and what they need to rely on is that Impale Quibble combination, with that Impale ideally landing on at least one of Kinetik. We're not seeing that. I don't think I Love Joseph. He's had a good lance so far, but it's just not been as outstanding as Pawn the Original's lance was in the last game. And I think the same can be said for Gabe Bizzle, and that many of his hooks are being blocked out. And I'm not sure if that just comes down to Koldamik being very good with his crucibles, or them being very well projected, so it is easy to block them.
Okay, hook, another attempt there from Gabe, but he has 3 points in it. But Crucible, that's going to be the
that's
thing.
it.
She does get caught out. We have the Gauntlet, the Death from above, but Cloud9 tank it all and say, all right, we'll take that trade. Nobody down yet from Cloud9. Pawn in a very bad spot. Suri Strike is going to be good enough, at least until the root comes through. I Love Joseph and the Impale to take a 2-0 exchange. Koldamik will not get caught, but Cloud9 can really start up a Kraken this time.
Yeah, I think they can. I think they've got a good chance of taking it with any contest from Arden. I feel like they do need Hardek to help out there. And with 14 seconds left in the clock with Mikshi, I don't think there's anything here for one kill.
Mikshi just bought that reflex block at the 20-minute mark. would have been very important that he had it in the last fight. So your point about the defense really coming through there, Xingyi at the end. Koldamik only has one Crucible, and he has to use it on those hooks. And well, it doesn't even matter about the second because Mixi was dead in the water by then. I was really curious to see if we were going to see just straight 4-item here from Pawn. He had a lot of cash, and he's still on that Aegis in the tier 2 boots, but will he go into like a clockwork for 4th item?
He could be. He could also be going for the House and Chargers. There's a lot left open on the table right now. But Mixi's just taking so much damage.
And Mixi's going to have to be in the back. Another root Pawn. He was on the front line. The gauntlet, it just gets ignored. Hero is down. Pawn, 50 seconds to think about it. And Mixi will join him there as well. The double kill is good. Joseph now looking for a triple. Does he have the impale? It will root up. The turret is down. The Kraken is coming. And the triple kill will go the way of Joseph. He'll tank out the turret. Ace buff not to be applied, but with nobody standing left to defend, Cloud9 and a very healthy Kraken are going to take game number 2.
Yes, they could. And once Hardik can heal I Love Joseph, and I think they could, if they focus on both of the turrets right now, maybe not focus on one turret, but oh, there goes the Verse of Judgment. But if they do this, I think this game could be theirs. Oh, this is so close right now that Pawn and Mixi are out.
Yeah, Pawn and Mixi are here, but everybody from Cloud9 are alive. Joseph has double sword, remember. Even if everything else dies, but Joseph lives, he can win the game right here and now, and it won't even be another kill to be had. Kinetik with only 3 kills here in game number 2. Just too squishy. By the end of it all, not enough defense. Like you were saying, Xingyi, and the roots were clutch. Joseph didn't even die this game. He had 8-0-5.
What a trooper. The hosts at the start of the game said this would be an interesting one. I think it still definitely applies. It's interesting because Kinetik played this Lance Finn combo in the first game, and Cloud9 played it for the second game, and they also won with it. I feel that Cloud9 maybe weren't as confident in pulling it off as perhaps Kinetik were in the first game, but I think what was very key was the lack of defense coming from Kinetik. Koldamik did an exemplary job blocking as many of the force cores as he could with the Crucible. However, the lack of reflex block and the lack of Mixi for so long really cost them very key fights.
That's going to be it for game 2. This will be the decider coming up. We also have our last series of the day yet to be played. We're going to throw it back to the lair to find out what's up on deck and how it's all going to unfold.
Well, you know, guys, I'm not quite sure how it's going to unfold just yet. I mean, it's 1-for-1 between these two teams, both fighting tooth and nail to try and get that World Championship spot this weekend. It all comes down to this. So, we've seen now one win from both sides. What is your expectations coming into Game 3? How is the drafts going to change with the knowledge that both teams now have?
Well, I mean, the drafts themselves, I don't necessarily feel like they needed to change, but the mechanics and the positioning from Kinetik that game were just very, poor. I mean, constantly getting caught by impales near the front line. Even when they were, the last push, Kraken is, against the turret, and Kestrel, Lance just walks up and impales Kestrel, and then Githy and Walls are against each other. You have to see him coming. It's not like he's stealthed.
I mean, this is
he's not
Joseph. He walks up with his Kaku. This is how he does it.
He borrows Taka's box.
They still can't see him.
Goes inside.
Okay, but look at this. Look at this. I agree with you. There were some mechanical misplays.
A lot of mechanical misplays.
Almost every single fin hook was Crucibles. Okay? So Cole doing work. Credit where credit's due there. I think we got to give Cole God a little love. But that left them very vulnerable. You weren't going to... There was nothing to block impales or getting walls. That was positioning. But there was nothing to bail them out of that situation.
Well, it was also 50-50. It's Cole, you give him a lot of credit for blocking those fin hooks, staying very alert and aware of that. But at the same time, I think it hindered his ability to also land effective gauntlets that actually paid off. There was a lot of times where the gauntlets surrounded no one, cut off no one. And I think that's pretty critical. Even if you land one good gauntlet a game, it's not enough. At this level of play, you have to consistently land gauntlets when it matters and block the pulls. It can't just be one or the other.
I agree with you. But I also think, as an ardent player, it's kind of a weird game. A lot of times, you're going to have Lance Finn up front, and you're like, I don't know if these are the two that I want to have, separated. And you have Adagio on the backside. That's the one that you want to trap. And so he has to actually be mispositioned for you to ever take advantage of the fact. And then it has to be a good gauntlet on top of it.
Yeah, I think when you when you set up your team fights, you generally want the gauntlet just to be down in the team fight itself, whether it's separating or whether it's surrounding. Just give Sky and Kestrel a place to kite inside or outside and or around it. But there was some times where the gauntlets were just off to the side, and for them to continue to engage the team, they had to chase away from it, and it wasn't actually forcing Cloud9 to make any decisions around the gauntlet itself. So I think you get like a bit of a mixture. But yeah, man, they even like Pawn, like the big question I have is why is Pawn on Sky and why is Mixi on Kestrel? Like traditionally, they've played the other pick. Pawn's been on the Kestrel unless it was the weapon power Sky back in the championship days of summer, and Mixi's been on Sky. So I'm like, and these are like Excel picks that they've had in the past that they've done really well on. So that's very confusing to me why they're swapping it up. And you can see like Pawn's missing a lot of skill shots.
I totally agree with that point.
And Mixi, without that mobility, seems to have a hard time finding his footing in these team fights against the Lance, constantly just getting impaled. Like, not even outplayed, just impaled, just lands on him.
I do also think, going back to the draft, maybe Arden wasn't the best choice, though. Because although I think we can all agree that Cole's Arden is pretty good, Finn can obviously just walk through a gauntlet. So whether you're encircling him or
Well, so
cutting
can
him
Lance
off,
once he maxes.
exactly,
his
that's where I
Githyan
wanted to
wall.
go with this. There's two people who just ignore it. And they save their reflex block for whatever else they need to save it for.
And they were never going to walk through the wall. If the gauntlet goes down and they're inside, like typically those two are going to be like, oh, we're fighting now? Cool.
All right, guys, we're going to do another vote real quick whilst we're waiting for the lobby of this third and final game of the series. Type !vote in the Twitch chat, followed by either C9 or Kinetik with 2Ks in order to decide who you think is going to take this one home. Either could do it. We've seen a win from both. It's interesting and it's exciting because one of these teams is not going to be able to get to Worlds after this series.
Does one of these teams ban Finn?
I think Lance is the problem, not Finn.
Finn won. Both hands. Whoever had Finn won.
This is very true, but as we said before, like the pulls were blocked pretty consistently, and the damage, the Githyan walls, the impales seem to constantly really like make the difference. I mean, Joseph having quite a few kills, not going unkilled, being kind of the one that they were always afraid to chase because they never really knew when he was going to turn back on them.
Pawn's like, I'm not quite sure, but Joseph, there's like this category of players that play a strong pick that they're not known for playing, and I think Joseph's in that last performance very high in that category.
Well, I mean, there's certain picks that you can play to effectiveness without a lot of practice just because the pick in and of itself lends itself to being somewhat of an easier bully type pick. Like, yes, there is a difference between people who land impales and who don't in terms of their overall effectiveness, but Lance still absorbs tons of damage. He does a lot of work just with autos against someone like Sky, who's trying to like kite around the edge.
Sky. Yeah.
So Pawn, like, in order for like Pawn to actually do work that game, he needed to hit consistent skill shots. And he was missing a lot of forward barrage damage because he was too afraid to get close enough to hit it, but still so far back he couldn't get the right angle most of the team fights.
All right, we're ready for the draft, ladies and gentlemen, of Game 3 of this series. Both teams, as I said before, but I gotta say it again, still in contention for Worlds. After this game, one of them will no longer be in that position. We got Kinetik and Cloud9.
I can't believe it.
This is it! It all comes down to this.
Drafts are so important. Kestrel banned by Cloud9. Celeste banned by Kinetik here. Finn, the first pick. I got to go with Cloud9 on this one, team.
Just because of the first pick? You like that one?
Every single time when they've had Gabe Visible on the lineup and they've won, it was with a Finn.
I mean, those are good odds. They definitely have seen some success on it. I like the fact that Kinetik will prioritize this Lance. Now, what they pair it with is definitely going to be the key here. Roam Lance on Cole, it hasn't been my favorite in the past. I definitely think Cole tends to be much stronger on the Arden, on the Finn. But it is interesting to see Cloud9 pick it up, and one's going to have to think Cloud9's going to go Scarf. I honestly feel like Kinetik could consider going Scarf here instead of the Adagio, but if Cloud9 gets the Scarf with the Finn, that's a lot of frontline protection. As of right now, Kinetik has no way of actually really getting to that Scarf if Cloud9
I like
does
the
choose
Scarf
the
into
draft.
Adagio anyway.
Yes, Scarf into Adagio, even Scarf into Lance is, in my opinion, a much stronger than Celeste, just due to the nature of Scarf's range.
Sky.
Talk to me about why they're picking Sky into a Lance when a Scarf makes more sense, and it's probably Hardek playing the Sky.
I actually don't understand the Sky pick right now, simply just because I feel like you can go with a late game scaling more tanky composition around the Scarf makes a little bit more sense, especially if you pick the Kroll.
I was asking because it didn't make sense to me, and I was hoping you had some insight. But
Because
No,
when there's one game on the line, Hardek, he knows he needs that Sky.
If there was one hero that Hardek fell behind on more than anyone else in the last season, it was Sky.
it's also the hero that he fell behind on and then came back, but that was with Joseph on Taka. I think Cloud9 has made a critical mistake here.
I think Kinetik's composition is going to definitely, if they get rid of Hardek at any way at all, it's going to be really hard for Cloud9 to do anything else at that point. I mean, Kroll can do some work, but he definitely needs that other carry there to help him out, especially once the late game hits. So Hardek's try-hard pants have to be on. I mean, this is it. And then, of course, Kinetik looking to turn it around. It is Cole on the roam Lance, so we'll have to see if he can step up to the plate this game and really make it work.
I mean, there's not a lot of disables on that team, other than that Lance right there.
True.
Okay. Who do you guys think is going to take it last chance?
I'd like to think that Kinetik is going to be able to probably pull this off due to the composition, and I just don't know if Hardek Sky is going to be what they need to close the game.
Humanist?
Cloud9,
Okay.
they're doing it. They're doing it, team. Lock it in. Final
All
vote.
right, we got votes from our analysts. We're going to have votes from you guys after we get onto the fold. Let's hand it on over to Jingyi and Fourcrow Jester to take us through the action.
So game number 3, a lot on the line. You can see Hardek just kind of bullying out Mixi there up in lane, but Gabe Vizzle getting bullied out of the bottom area here by Kinetik. We got a Rona coming into this one. We have our first Kroll of the day, I believe, and Cloud9 going to be on this roaming Lance. And the first vote of the day here, Jingyi, the audience said Cloud9. Now, I'm not entirely too sure how much that's going to swing.
Ugh, this crew, I feel the same as the analysts. I'm a little bit dubious about this crew, and I'm also a little bit dubious about Hardek Sky.
Uh-oh.
I have faith, but it's a difficult composition to pull off, and they can be easily bullied out of the jungle, especially crew, and we'll just have to see how this 2v3 goes around.
Well, the forward barrage does actually come across Kinetik, at least a little bit right there, and it's going to be a full-blown 3v3 here in this brush. Pod the original going into the fray, just trying to stay on top of Hardek there in the back, but Joseph is going to be starting to look for some stacks. He needs a target to cash in on once he does actually get that Spectral back up, but Joseph just kind of getting bullied around a little bit. Does look like Kinetik, they're going to be owning the jungle for a little bit, but a nice deny on the rotation. Forward barrage is just going to be chasing Kinetik to take the long way round, and it does look like Cloud9 will retain the favor of their audience vote, but it's 59-41, Jingyi.
That gap has closed drastically. I'm not sure if that's because of the compositions that we're looking at, or just because of the performance from from the two teams in the past 2 games. Oh, Mixi!
Yep, the Quibble, the polite company, just nowhere to go. Mixi just no boots to activate on that one. So now upon the original, he's going to find Joseph here, but he's going to get out of the fray. Actually jumped on top of Gabe, but now, alright, he's got some backup. Cloud9 is here. Cloud9 might actually just be straight up dead. Hardek is not a very forgiving person, and now Pawn and Rona. That's going to be some more forward barrage. If I thought that the last game was going to be a first item Frostburn, I would want to say that this game should be a first item Frostburn, but we'll have to see if Hardek will stick to the Weapon Blade or not.
I think this should be Frostburn as well, just to keep Pawn the original away. Pawn
and Cole away.
Yeah, true. Pawn and Cole. And I Love Joseph is going to have a very hard time going into Pawn and into Cloud9 as well, because he's going to find it very difficult to find a target to stick to, just because of Cloud9 using his gift in wall to push them away. It's a difficult matchup, and I feel like Cloud9 have made things a little bit more difficult for themselves because of the way the draft went.
Could be the first time the audience is wrong in my memory. If Cloud9 can't actually get this one out, you guys, the analysts, right? There's a lot of minuses against them, and gonna have to see if they can step up. I called out Meek in game 1, Shingy, but I gotta say, he really stepped up. His roam role, like, that's all his own now.
Yeah, he's been doing a really good job in both of the 2 games, blocking the Catherine Blast Tremors and also blocking the Force of Chorus, and he's been doing it very consistently. He's doing a really good job. I'm wondering how the Lance is going to shape up compared to Pawn, the original, and I Love Joseph's more aggressive jungle roams. He's playing more of a utility role. I'm just going to see how well he does it.
Alright, so I think Joseph was in that mustache special looking for a rotation there from Pawn, but Pawn, as we can see, is just off jungling, no problem. Solo experience is great for Rona. And what kind of build are we going to be seeing out of a lot of these guys? I mean, Hardik is that Crystal, Joseph, I mean, tank-ish? I mean, it's hard to call which way he'll go offensively on it, but what do you think for everyone else?
Oh, so Hardak, Frostburn, Broken Myth, I think we can expect I Love Joseph to be going for that the very tanky cruel build. We've seen him, I think, in the past few seasons, we've seen him going through a variety of builds, so this one looks to be the Shiver Steel first, and everything's frozen on my screen. But anyway, I think he's going for Shiver Steel, maybe that break doesn't look, I don't know what's wrong, I just have to restart, but there we go again. Yeah, going for the Shiver Steel Breaking Point, very, very tanky build for that cruel, and it's all about applying those weakness stacks onto Mixi and Pawn the original.
Alright, so Pawn, he's actually, I want to say Breaking Point first, but he could actually just keep those parts of him there. Is he also going to have to go a little bit more tanky here?
Pardon?
Is Pawn actually going to be going a little bit...
I did not hear that.
Tankier here as well. I mean, Joseph very likely to be that front line here with Gabe. Is it going to be the similar situation? Meek, Pawn, are they going to have to tank up to just create that space?
Oh, I heard the words, but the sentence didn't quite make sense in my head. Meek, definitely, yes. We've seen some Lances going quite aggressive with maybe a Stormcorn or even just that cheeky Sora Blade there amongst their normal utility items. But for him, I think they need it to block the forward barrage coming from Hardik, and if they can do that, they can make him very useless. Same for Pawn the original. I can expect a Serpent's Mask coming out from him, maybe, and then a Breaking Point as well. And then that way he can jump straight onto Hardik and just peel him away from the rest of his team, and that way it does leave Meek and Mixi open to take down I Love Joseph.
I don't feel too bad about the whole misunderstanding there. I've been told I make no sense a lot of the time anyway, here, Shinge. So, Cole right now, he's going to be really far forward. Does not have the combat roll, but the forward barrage doesn't actually hit the first little bit, but a polite company, going to be Cole just really in that target. He is going to be dropping down low. We're going to cash in on this, no problem. That's going to be the 3rd kill of the game as Cloud9 up 3-0. We're pretty much just solid on gold. Back and forth, Pawn, he's just farming up, no problem, in the jungle, and we're not getting a lot of lane pressure out from Cloud9 despite that kill. So overall, it's not going to be changing too much, but Mixi, he's going to try to make something happen, and he immediately regrets his decision.
Oh, I think he was a little bit too greedy there, trying to pick up the kill on Hardik, but kind of forgetting about I Love Joseph somehow. They're right there, but enabled them to pick up the kill there onto Mixi, and that's 4-0 in favor of Cloud9. One thing that I'll say is going in their favor is Pawn the Original's farm. He's out-farming I Love Joseph about 17, and partly the reason is, again, the lack of scout traps, the lack of vision, and it's enabling people going into to go into their opponent's jungle and deny farm away. You need to be able to do that, especially when you know it is happening.
I Love Joseph takes one step into the bush, and Meek just puts him right up against the wall. Very quick really quick reflexes on that one, but the rotation will eventually get denied here. 3 of Kinetik. Pawn jumping in. They're going to be looking for blood, but who's actually the target? Pawn will steal the farm. Joseph is going to be a little bit more on the reach. We got the death from above, all focused here on top of Pawn, but he's spinning. He's trying to win, but we had the Hell's Heart come out. It got him out of the spin, and now the red mist is going to come back, and that is it for the Crow. He is done. Pawn not even to get hit by the verse, and now lots of kills coming the way of Kinetik. They pick up 2. They can't quite find the 3rd. Gabe Vizzle is back in lane, but the jungle will be their prize.
They focus on I Love Joseph in that fight. I Love Joseph was forced into very, very low. He got denied the Treant at first as well, which is very important. And then what happened was I just feels like when he's playing this Cruel in this game so far, he's not being... It's a fine line between aggressiveness and passiveness. And I feel like he needs to be a bit more aggressive because he's fairly tanky right now. He's got that Shiver Steel. And when he's running away, what's happening is he's taking a lot of damage from Mixi. And that's something that isn't ideal. And we want him applying those weakness attacks. He's got a little bit of attack speed, and he's got the ability to do so, but we're just not seeing as much.
Oh man, a great combo there as the hook comes in with the death from above. That's going to be it for Adagio as he is dead in the water. Kolamik is going to be holding out this lane. Gabe did tank out the turret. Pawn is going to be here, but 2v3 even with the turret. Kinetik, well, they should be able to hold, but I can't really vouch that they're going to get a kill out of this. Pawn's last hit's going to be going up and up as he cleans up the entire farm, but it's all Cloud9 now rotating, looking for some shopping, and we get, after that fountain, an Atlas Pauldron here from Gabe on the original, looking to make a rotation, but he's going to get followed out of the fray there with Hardik and the Suri Strike, and just nowhere to go. Another Death's Heart from Hell's Heart. It was a Death's Heart as he died, but yeah, Joseph 2 for 2 now on the stuns into Rona.
He's doing a really good job. I think the key thing for trying to take down that Rona is the chain stuns. She's been stunned up a number of times by Hardik's death from above, and I think he said twice there from I Love Joseph's from Hell's Heart. There.
Might as well be a Death Surge.
Oh, he's being stunned. This was taking a lot of damage.
Yeah, Gabe is actually coming down low. Kolamik is here as well, just going to be rolling. That's going to be the stun from on top of Mixi, though, from the death from above. And the gold mine is actually still here. Pawn, he's back in town. He has that Sorrow Blade first. He does not want to go tanky at all. He just wants to do damage, and he's trying to do the damage on top of Hardik. And it is going to be coming down close. Who will drop first, Hardik or Mixi? Mixi will go down at the same time as the Sky. The gold mine, again, just kind of ignored a lot of the time, and Pawn is looking for the damage on top of Joseph. He jumps out so that we can't cash in the stacks. I Love Joseph is not going to have the spectral healing available now, and with those stacks now drop Pawn, he's back to full damage. Kolamik is still chasing with Pawn, but they can't really find Joseph yet. They are still putting up the front, though, trying to deny the farm. But we see that Hardik, he's already respawned. He's come back, and we're very deep in the Cloud9 territory. Gabe's going to bring him back into this one as well with the Force Accord, and Hardik will get the return kill. We went too deep on that and didn't finish Goldmine. It has reset. Nobody has claimed it yet.
That was a very prolonged fight. It was that gold mine was really just messed with Mixi. Goodbye.
Yeah, it's past level 8. Gabe Vizzle has the stun. It's no problem. And Cole, I don't think you're getting this kill. It's as good as you are, man. You don't have any damage built up on that Lance, and Gabe Vizzle will survive.
Yes, all three members are still alive, and as I was going to say, that gold mine was completely helping everything right now. I'm wondering if they're going to get this turret. I think they won't, because that minion wave from Rona heading towards them right now. She could potentially mop up Hardik.
Will Rona go into Shiver Steel after the Sorrow Blade? It's a little bit different than what we thought for the predictions. Cole, of course, with all those activatables coming online, it's pretty much as expected for him, but now Pawn, it's going to be another death from above, does not actually land on him. Oh, the Suri Strike didn't get him over the wall, but he has Gabe here as well, and the weakness is stacking up. Hardik is stunned out, but there's nobody to do the damage, and Pawn is going down. We don't have an Adagio here. Cole might be looking for a kill. He needs to look for an escape instead. He's going to get stunned up over the wall. Joseph is just going to be there, but Gabe pulls him back in. Cloud9. Hardik is going to get that Trent. He is still even an option to kill here on top of Cole, but he goes over the wall and he pays for it. Cole had the Githian wall up. But now, who will actually get this kill? Will it be the minion mine? Will it be Gabe? Will it be no one? Will Cole survive?
I think Cole will survive. He's got a lot of escape there. Oh, wow.
Craziness ensues. Hardik making a huge misplay makes Cole just very happy with that trade in return.
Yes, Cole escaped. I thought he was never going to make it, because Gabe Vizzle just kept locking him down time and time again with the Force Accord, with the Quibble. And that just brings me to the next point. Gabe Vizzle and his Quibbles, absolutely excellent so far. He's really stopping them. We can see he's using his Quibble to prevent members of, I think, Cloud9 and Pawn originally just getting onto his teammates, and he's doing such a good job of landing them every single time.
Gabe Vizzle Quibble. I almost want to call it a Quizzle. Silly, I know. My brain works in weird ways. But 10 kills in 4. Cloud9. It's actually not a gold lead.
No, it's not. It's identical, actually. But it feels like it should be a much further ahead for Cloud9. And part of the reason is I Love Joseph's farm, 53 to Pawn the Original's 84.
It's a big difference.
It is a big difference. But he's still doing fair now.
Shiver Steel is here now. So still not really a lot of defense for Pawn, but because of the shopping trip, the turret, it's going to be down. Hardek, he's the target. We're trying to get the damage done this time. The burst does actually hit, but it doesn't really kill anybody, and Hardek gets stunned up. He is done. I Love Joseph is looking for that stat cache on top of Mixi, but it's not enough to bring down the Adagio, and Cloud9 just strung out so far away from each other. Not really a lot for Gabe to do on that one. This will be 2 kills for Kinetik, and now maybe a return turret.
I think it could be the turret, and I think what was absolutely key in that fight was very questionable moves being made by Hardek as that Sky. He was just in the middle of all 3 members of Kinetik for so long, it just didn't make sense. He was just walking through them. We could see Pawn original building up her breaking point stacks. Well, not her breaking point stacks, just using her red mist onto him. And then he just forward barraged the wrong way. I'm wondering what actually caused that, because it was very, very poor play coming out from him. And because he wasn't able to deal the damage, it just fell apart for Cloud9 there.
Still no defense in the cards here for Pawn. He is going to be looking for the breaking point that you were alluding to. And 20 seconds left before Kraken. It's another gold payout. And actually, is that our first gold payout? It might even be our first. I'm not sure anybody actually went back to the gold mine after that long engagement. But Kinetik are going to be taking a bit more of a lead when it comes to the gold. They traded out the turrets. They got themselves the kills. And with that gold mine, they're up 2,000. And they're looking for blood.
Yes, and I think they could find it. I don't know why I just did that really nasal voice. I was like, felt like Snape. Yes, I see.
There's the breaking point as Pawn is... Well, I think that's about as strong as he's going to get. If he doesn't get any defense past that Shiver after this, I'll be very surprised. But he has a target. This target's name is Hardek, and oh my goodness, the stuns are not going to keep him alive. Joseph jumping on top of Mixi, but Mixi doesn't really seem to care. We got a burst coming out. That's going to be a block from Joseph, but that's all he's going to contribute to. That verse just to kill out the Kroll. I don't even know where the hell's heart went, but it did not make an impact.
Part of the reason, what was that sewer strike? He sewer strike right into the middle of all the members of Kinetik. It was a terrible move by him. They focused him down very quickly. And the thing is about I Love Joseph, there's these. And the thing about I Love Joseph is he's not meant to be a main damage dealer. He's kind of the second support player that's just building these weakness stacks, and they rely on Hardek staying alive. And there was very little they could have done to help Hardek there, to be honest. And it's... I think just maybe change the mentality. They really need to win this series.
Alright, so Kraken, it's now going to be a target. Another turret is down in 10 and 10 for kills. With this Kraken coming through, it's going to be looking good for Kinetik, but just off to the side as well. Fate and Ardent Aurora, they've actually finished out game number 1, and it's Fate up 1-0. That's congratulations to them. We will continue out that series after the conclusion of this one. So don't go anywhere for that, guys. Still lots more Vainglory for you guys to come through. But Kinetik, back to this present here, Xingyi. They are on the warpath. They have infusions. This offensive Rona worked out somehow. Hardek, 5-5-5. Pretty average score, but he didn't go into a Frostburn.
He didn't go into a Frostburn. Sharglass, Frostburn, I think either of these items have been there, especially that Frostburn. And I'm just hoping he doesn't do one of those bad series strikes again, because they've been very questionable. Oh dear, Hardek, he's
got to do something here. I got to tell you that. Pawn
they got it.
Did not get the kill though. Hardek will actually survive through it. The Kraken is still doing work, and now you can see Joseph. He's trying to put those stacks on top of Mixi. Hardek is looking for an in, but Cole, he's going to be stopping him up. The death from above. They might just have to be happy with killing out Cole and Mixi. Looks like he might actually have that escape in the bag. Is he coming back to help? Do they think they can turn this? They're going to have a heal there on top of Cole. They're going to try to turn it. Mixer's down low, but Hardek, he's already back in base. And they are actually not going to lose out Cole after all. Gabe Vizzel's going to resist. He can't actually impale him, but he is slowed up. Mixi is looking for blood. He's going to get that kill, but now Joseph is on top of him. The stun, the root, he can't catch Mixi now. He can't cash in the stacks. The Kraken has done its work. It's still doing work. Hardek is the only one on it, and they will get a kill on Gabe.
That was bad split focus coming up from Cloud9.
Oh, so close to that last charge.
That was questionable moves coming out from them. They either needed to fully commit, pick up the ace, or they all need to go back and get the Kraken, because with a lance there, I Love Joseph was really going to struggle picking up the kill there onto Mixi, and they lost Gabe Bizzle in the process. He's going to be up soon anyway, but as it stands, there is one turret with a very small amount of health left on that turret. And that is all that stands between Kinetik winning this series.
I think Rona, if Rona gets a backdoor, she can win right then and there. Mixi maybe as well, but he's not as mobile. It would be a little bit easier to hunt him down. But I gotta say, I mean, I'm a little bit more of a believer here. Upon the original showing us that really offensive Rona, he has tier 3 boots on top of that. We're looking into pretty much just full specs almost across the board here from Kinetik. It's not that far off, and this could be the last fight of the game. Hardek is just staying way in the back. Upon the original, not going to be getting stunned, still not going to get stunned. Hold the Meek for one to block out the Hell's Heart, and they change the focus. It's I Love Joseph. He's now dead in the water. We got a Verge right there. Hardek can't move, and now it's just Gabe holding the lines, but he's not going to hold it long. That will be the ace. This turret will fold under the pressure of Kinetik, and this will be Cloud9 eliminated this week. And as they are not on top of the scoreboard, they are not going to Worlds.
That was such a pivotal series for both of those teams. Cloud9, they were looking good at the start of this, regardless of the composition that they had. There's some really strong moments. I Love Joseph was doing well, despite being really behind in farm compared to Paul in the original. And I think there were just some crucial fights there in the last 5 minutes that just really changed things for Cloud9. And I think it does come down to Hardek's positioning on the Suri strikes. He was really Suri striking just into the middle of all three. And that was a really bad mistake, and it just really changed the whole team fight there. There were moments at the end where it just looked like they were so close there. But it was just so close there. I'm just trying to stress that, how close it was between those two teams.
The heartbreaking series for Cloud9, but they stretched it all the way to the end. A lot of doubts with this crow coming in from you guys, from the analysts, but the crowd had their back. The crowd does not seem to be the omnipotent source, and I thought they were there, Jinge. So that's it. We're going to be jumping into Fate and Ardent as soon as we can, but Cloud9 eliminated. Back to you guys there at the desk.
Thank you very much, guys. Cloud9, their world's hopes have been dashed by Kinetik, who is going to have...
Crushed.
Well, Kinetik still need to beat Gangstars, so for their sakes, they're not there yet. They still got some work to do, and Gangstars probably, because Kinetik was actually lower total points than Cloud9, I think for Kinetik to get all the way, Gangstars actually has to lose their third-place match, too. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I'm 90% sure.
Mm-hmm.
So tomorrow's going to be very interesting. At least that semifinals match is going to tell us a lot. For this game, I mean, Fuji, we were talking about this. The sky just didn't feel right. And it really fell flat in the mid-game.
I mean, it's too much pressure for Hardek to mechanically perform at 100%. It's not even completely his fault when you think about the kind of composition he's running up against. I mean, Rona and Lance just chasing you around, you only have one Suri strike so often. You can only kite so well, and you have to rely on the positioning of your team to try to do a lot of work for you. But if you make too many mistakes, it doesn't matter how hard Joseph's trying to go in and slow down the damage on the Adagio or how much Finn's trying to peel off the Rona, because if you're Suri striking in too close, you're going to get pinned up. You're going to get slammed against the wall. Like, you really need to just... Don't even worry about getting lock-on sometimes. Just shoot forward barrages out max distance until you can get some safe Suri strikes. And then make sure you tell your team, hey, I'm going to Suri strike after getting this lock-on. Go in with me. Like, let's boots in together. Let's go around. Let's shift the entire fight to another angle instead of doing the, like, I Suri strike and got Githianed and now I'm dead.
Humanist, any final thoughts before we hop into the break for our next series?
It's, I like all those players out there, but it's borderline heartbreaking to watch Cloud9 go out like that. Because I feel like they went down without their best performance.
Yeah, I still just don't understand why you wouldn't pick up a scarf or something that you've been playing and winning with, and this like CP Sky out of the lane is just...
I don't think I even disagree with you. Not and to say that it wasn't the best. I'm not saying it was the best pick. Like that's not my argument, but it was very questionable decisions when to actually fight. And then there was obvious. I mean, the biggest problem was probably when to fight with Sky, but they chose fights a couple times. Finn was level 6, had Fountain ready in 4 seconds. Joseph starts a fight in their jungle, separated down by the mids, runs towards the minion miner. Hardik loops around the top, and Gabe's like, I'm going to hang out in our mustache bush. So Gabe made the decision, we're not going to fight. Joseph and Hardik decided to fight. Like, that can't happen if you're a team that's going to be potentially going to Worlds.
I've got to cut this this bit of analysis short, guys, because we need to head into our next series. Our MVP for this one is going to be Cold on his Finn. Very strong performance from him, helping Kinetik make their way to day 2 and possibly keep their World's hopes alive. We'll do a giveaway real quick. Hashtag Evilate in the Twitch chat for your chance to win some ice. When we're back, we've got Fate versus Ardent. Fate is 1 game up right now, so we're going to be hopping into game 2. Don't go anywhere.